Hey everybody, thank you for joining me here in the landing zone. I am Mark Adam. We are going to talk about both soccer matches that happened in Winnipeg yesterday. Valour FC hosted FC Edmonton at 3 p.m. and then FC Manitoba hosted the Des Moines Menace at 7 p.m. at the Ralph Catafio Soccer Complex. In chronological order, let's start with Valour FC. Why don't we watch the highlights put together by One Soccer, and we'll be right back to talk about that.
Off the shoulder, I believe, of Saint, and then Chum comes in for a touch. Warshevsky didn't need to make a play at it with Gutierrez a little bit off balance. Left back quickly into Gutierrez, who was searching for a passing option. That's a nice flick from Levi's. Akio! Denied once again by Vakla. That's better from Edmonton. It's an even 3v3 with Warshevsky from the left side. It slips in behind Kamara. He's going to get it there. Edmonton against the run of play. And Kamara serves his role quite efficiently once again. They wait for their moments, the build-up in the middle of the park, and they're rewarded. Batar the slip pass, Kamara the touch. Sirois comes out, but cannot deny Mamadi's second of the season. Walk us through it here, Hume.
Perfect bit of play.
Ponce gets it over to Catavolo. Valour looking for some space. Catavolo, the cross! Akio! At the death to salvage a result from Valour. Devastation for the Eddies as they were...
Having a quick look at the stats, we see just the 2 yellow cards each, even in fouls, which is a much lower number than we saw in Valour's last match. Even in corners, we're seeing possession absolutely dominated by Valour, but that was actually something both clubs knew was going to happen going into this match. Let's hear from the coaches on exactly that.
Possession means absolutely nothing in this game unless something's done with it. And you can see teams that have had 10% possession in games win those games. So we knew we were going to come in and concede possession today. I haven't even looked at the stats, so obviously I'm 100% certain they completely outpossessed us. But it's what teams do with the ball when they have possession. I thought we looked equally as dangerous in transition when we had our moments. It's how we chose to play the game today. And we were seconds away from being successful. So the moment is frustrating, but giving up possession, that was part of what we planned for, and that's not a problem in certain games.
What did you see from that one? Exactly what we knew the game would look like. Edmonton was going to come here and keep things very tight. We knew we would dominate possession and play in their half. That they would try and hurt us with a set play or a transition moment, and unfortunately they did in that one action.
Now you just heard it from both coaches. That was the game plan going in. Valour was going to be given the ball, and they were essentially not expected to do anything with it, which is not the first time or even the second time that this has happened to Valour. Coach Dos Santos even went on to say later on that this is the third time that going into the match, they knew they were going to be given the ball and allowed to dominate possession, expecting nothing to come of it. There is zero respect towards Valour FC's scoring ability from the rest of the CPL. Since the departure of Austin Ricci, that statistic is, well, it's kind of true, isn't it? Aside from a 6-1 polishing of Atletico Ottawa back in April, Valour has not been able to capitalize on many of their scoring opportunities. Obviously, Sean Rea and Moses Dyer are doing everything that they can do, and now William Akio gets that monkey off his back with yesterday's heroics, so hopefully, going forward, William Akio can start contributing on the goal-scoring side of things as well. We know he has the desire to do that, we know he has the capability of doing that, and hopefully getting that goal in yesterday kind of opened some floodgates for him. Hopefully, Valour can figure out what recipe or formula is needed to continually put balls in the back of the net if they hope to make the playoffs. They are sitting on a record of 2-4-3, 10 points. They're sitting 1 point out of a playoff spot at the moment. At the end of the day, if you're Valour, you're happy to get the 1 point, but you're disappointed at losing out on the full 3 points against a winless FC Edmonton. Valour now have a long break. They don't play again until June 15th against Cavalry. Switching gears very quickly, let's move on to FC Manitoba, who were also in action yesterday while they hosted the Des Moines Menace. The Menace are the top team in USL 2 at the moment, with 4 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. They have been dominant. FC Manitoba were looking to be the first team to steal a point from the league leaders, and they were hoping to do so in front of what turned out to be an actually very decent crowd once everyone had trickled in. FC Manitoba performed very well on the day, pulling off the game plan that their head coach put together for them, despite that head coach not even being allowed to be on the pitch. He had received a straight red while on the bench during the previous match, so now he has to sit out for the following 3 matches. By the way, 3 matches happens to be half of FC Manitoba's home schedule. Stepping up and running the bench on the day was Fabio Fiorentino, who I had the pleasure of speaking to after the match. When I asked Fabio about the head coach being missing and whether or not that sort of changed the game plan, here's what he had to say.
A little bit. We prepared all week. So obviously Coach Victor was there. You know, we worked through the game plan. We watched some film. We discussed a lot. And then, you know, today we had a discussion, Coach Rui, myself, him, and we had kind of an idea of what we wanted to do, given, you know, certain variables came into play, and I think we tried to execute as best we could with his vision in mind.
Having a quick look at the stats we see here, 0-0 was the final score, 50% possession, 6 yellow cards apiece, and that's where all the similarities end. Des Moines absolutely dominated when it came to actual attempts at net, 16-6. Shots on target, 7-3 in favor of the Menace. However, that really didn't come into play. Again, 0-0. FC Manitoba's game plan was to hold off the Menace as long as they could, and they succeeded in doing so. As a result, they get to walk away with a point from the toughest team in the USL 2. That's a pretty good day at the office for FC Manitoba, if you ask me. And if you ask the players, they're probably going to agree.
I thought the team battled really hard during the game. We grinded out a very good 1 point, I believe. We got the point against the former USL champion, so we're very proud of that.
They absolutely should be proud. The consensus going around the stadium, all the whispers and that in the crowd, was that this match was going to be an absolute thumping and FC Manitoba was going to be on the receiving end. Not only did that not happen, they stole a point from the toughest team in USL 2. Here's the thing for them now, is they need to ride this out. They've got 3 matches left at home before going on the road, the next of which is June 12th at Ralph Contafio Soccer Complex. They are not paying me to say these things, but come on out at 1 p.m. next Sunday at the Ralph Contafio Soccer Complex. If you happen to see me, come say hello. I'm usually pretty friendly, like most of the time. That's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for joining me here in the landing zone. I would greatly appreciate it if you click the old like, subscribe, and all that. We would really, really appreciate that. We will see you next time in the LZ.